He was the king of Chicago's underworld, a symbol of crime and excess during America's Prohibition era. But Al Capone's reign didn't last forever. This is the story of his meteoric rise and dramatic fall, a tale of power, violence, and ultimate downfall. Alphonse Gabriel Capone, better known as Al Capone, was born on January 17, 1899, in Brooklyn, New York. The son of Italian immigrants, young Al grew up in a tough neighborhood where crime was a way of life. In his teenage years, Capone dropped out of school and joined a gang called the 5 Points Gang, a group known for its violent methods. It was during this time that Capone learned the skills that would make him one of the most feared mobsters in history. A fateful meeting with Johnny Torrio, a crime boss from Chicago, would change Capone's life forever. Torrio invited Capone to Chicago to assist with his bootlegging operations during Prohibition. In the early 1920s, Prohibition had turned alcohol into a forbidden commodity, and Capone saw an opportunity. After taking over Torrio's empire in 1925, Capone expanded the mob's operations, controlling bootlegging, gambling, and prostitution in Chicago. Capone's organization was ruthless. They eliminated rivals with brutal efficiency, culminating in one of the most infamous events in mob history, the St. Valentine's Day Massacre. On February 14, 1929, 7 members of a rival gang were gunned down, allegedly on Capone's orders. The massacre shocked the nation but solidified Capone's reputation as a fearsome crime lord. At the height of his power, Capone lived like a king. He owned lavish estates, drove luxury cars, and even dined at Chicago's finest restaurants, where he was often greeted as a celebrity. Despite his violent reputation, Capone attempted to portray himself as a philanthropist, donating to charities and helping the poor during the Great Depression. But behind the scenes, federal law enforcement was building a case against him. The FBI, led by Eliot Ness and the Untouchables, worked tirelessly to dismantle Capone's empire. Despite his efforts to avoid prosecution, Capone's illegal activities left a trail of evidence. In 1931, Capone was charged not with murder or bootlegging, but with tax evasion. Federal prosecutors presented meticulous records of his unreported income, and Capone was sentenced to 11 years in prison. He was sent to the infamous Alcatraz prison, where the once mighty mob boss began to crumble. Suffering from syphilis, Capone's health deteriorated rapidly. By the time he was released in 1939, he was a shadow of his former self, unable to return to his life of crime. Capone spent his final years in Florida, living in obscurity until his death in 1947 at the age of 48. Al Capone's story is a cautionary tale. A man who rose to unimaginable power, only to lose it all. His name remains synonymous with organized crime, a reminder of the dark side of the American dream. What do you think? Was Al Capone a criminal mastermind or a victim of his own ambition? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more stories from Crime Chronicles.